What if I told you all you knew was an illusion, confusion untrue? They say the pages of history are written by those who claim victory, controlling minds for 2,000 years, kept us in line by stoking our fears. No longer will we hide who we are. We're stronger together by far. We are witches, we shall rise from the earth into the skies. Unite.
Hi there. How are you?
Hey, hi. I'm doing okay. Kind of smuggy out here.
Mm.
It's been storming all day,
Oh, wow.
so that's always nice. Yeah,
It's just
I mean, you
hot
have
and
dogs
humid.
who wants to go outside. You know, the door gets muddy, the floor gets muddy, so I was like, oh,
There's no way of keeping it clean. I know.
I know. We have a pretty good guest on for today. I'm really
Yay.
excited that she is on. I even got her book, and I'm in the process of reading it. But today we have, her name is Jen Sankey. She is an author, a deck creator, professional witch, and speaker, as well as a certified somatic integration practitioner, a Reiki master, and a certified crystal healer. She's
Wow.
the author of Manifesting by the Moon, a guide to lunar magic, Enchanted Forest Felines Tarot, and the creator of the award winning Stardust Wandering Tarot. Through her
Nice.
decks, books, and workshops, Jen helps people trust their intuition and find their own magic, grounded, practical, and free of professionalism. So let's bring her up here.
Hi, Jen. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's you are a woman of very many talents. You wear very many hats.
It's a blessing.
You have a hard time. Do you have a hard time finding time for yourself?
It's definitely something I have to be very aware of. And that's why I just kind of got to the point of calling myself a professional witch, because when I start just naming all the modalities that I do, it takes so long. So we just kind of lumped them in together. But yeah, I've definitely picked up a lot of things along the way.
Oh wow.
I do that too, unfortunately.
It's great, but then it's like, what did I just get myself into?
So, we did a small introduction of yourself. What first drew you into witchcraft and magic?
So really, it kind of started when I was a little kid. I was the weird little kid running around the woods, looking for the fae, making potions out of sticks and rocks and mud and all of that. So I guess that's kind of the main start of it all. And I was alone a lot as a kid. My parents didn't really think parenting was a lot of fun, so they just chose not to do it mostly. And so I was kind of doing my own thing a lot. And a lot of that was outside, because outside was safer for me than inside. So I was outside, and you know what? The trees were my friends. And that's kind of where it all started. And I was always drawn to movies that were different, and the scary movies. I mean, I was reading Stephen King, and when I was like 7 years old, and it just kind of evolved from there, and just seeing the different things from these different movies and just that culture. And I'm watching a movie, there's tarot cards. I'm like, whoo, what's that? I see people working with the moon. I see like ritual, and I'm like, ooh, what is all that? And at that point, it was back in the 1900s. So we didn't have internet at that point. So back when. So I had, it was either whatever I saw in movies, or if I went to the library and the like very small section of all of that stuff. So, it just kind of went from there. I got my first tarot deck when I was about 12, 13. And I didn't really know what to do with it, but I just started reading the little white book on the regular Rider-Waite-Smith deck and kind of just went from there. And from that too, it's just working with the moon. And that was something that I always was very aware of. So it was a very strong influence from early on. And then, things kind of progressed. I was on my own when I was 14. So I really had to rely on my intuition. And so that was a very big learning experience there. As I got older, I actually met my now husband, and then we became teenage parents. Yay! We got that far down good. And then from there, and he's been great. We've been together almost 35 years. Like he's not a witch. He says he's not, but he's very intuitive, and he just kind of goes along with all my crazy witchy things I do. And then, I have 4 boys. So as I was having babies, as I was doing all these other things, I was just trying to learn and absorb. And then the internet was more of a thing, and you were able to kind of find that information a little easier. And then it just kind of evolved from there. And I joined a couple Facebook groups, started running the Facebook groups, started teaching in them, and then started teaching at conferences, and then decided I want to make a tarot deck. And then that was a whole adventure. And then I wrote my book, and then here we are today. Very short.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, wow. That's very, very exhausting. Really. I'm tired
It's a
already.
lot. I try and cram it all in because there's so much, but yeah, those are the Cliff Notes version. Easier that way.
Speaking of your book, I just purchased your book.
Yay,
let
thank
me
you.
give
Thank you for getting it.
Let me see. It's called Manifesting by the Moon for the Lunar Magic.
Love it.
And why don't you tell us about this book to get people to go out there and buy it?
Yeah, I like that idea. I call that in. Absolutely. Go buy it. So, like I said, I worked with the moon a lot. That was like one of the things I started with, really because it's easy. You look outside and there it is, right? And once you realize the different phases and the different energy with the phases, then you can really start working with it in a more productive way. And this book is based on my practice with my clients, because I did read tarot professionally for a very long time. And I'm not a one and done tarot reader. If you get a reading from me, you're probably going to have homework. And it's more of like, we're trying to work on something. It's not like this is that, see you later. So
Right.
As I was working with these clients, I'm like, you know what? Let's bring in some of this moon work. Let's see how that works. So my early clients were a lot of my guinea pigs. They did know that. They were fine with it. But getting their feedback helped me to really curate how this whole process worked. And I wanted to have something that beginners can use, people who've been practicing for a really long time to use, and to use moon magic in a different way, because there are so many moon books out there, and it says, do this spell on this phase, do this spell on that phase. But I really wanted to bring in the practice to yourself. And that's why it's broken up each phase into mind, body, spirit, because it's really integrating that magic so you understand it, you understand how it works for you, and then how you can apply that best for you, because we're all different. Our perspectives are different. And, it's just like doing a tarot reading. My tarot readings are going to be different than your tarot reading, even if you have the same exact cards, but it's because our perspective, our whatever intuitive hits we may get, and they're both right, but they are coming from a different perspective. And a lot of times you go to certain people because you need that perspective. So with using the moon, it's really learning your own perspective and how to use it best for you, and use it in a way that's practical, easy. All of the spells, all of the rituals, you can literally get everything at the dollar store. Because like I said, I'm a mom of 4 kids. You know, I don't have a lot of time, and there were times I didn't have a lot of resources, so I had to use what was around me. And that's something I don't want you to worry about, having to get some herb on Etsy that's coming from Cambodia and costs you $1 million. Because if we don't have things around us that we can use, we're not going to do it.
Right.
And that's what I really didn't want. I didn't want anyone to get overwhelmed. I wanted you to be able to use it in a practical way, effective way that is really going to work for you. And sourcing things around, like your kitchen cabinet, there's a lot of herbs in there that you probably only use once a year, but you can use in your magic. Or if you go outside, if you don't have the crystal that I suggest, go outside and just say, is there a rock out here who'd like to work with me for the full moon? And you know what? You're going, something is going to, blink at you or peek at you. And then there you use that. And that's okay, because it doesn't need, our practice doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be, like these beautifully curated altars and rituals. I mean, if we have time to do it, absolutely. But in reality, we usually don't have a lot of time, and we don't have those resources or even the space. If you have pets, if you have children, you can't set like 50 candles up and do this whole big thing, because, they're going to, the minute they see that candle lit, they're coming over because they want to see what's up. And, and I was just joking around before. I was telling Chrissy that I have like my microphone here, and it's got one of those like muff things for the echo. My cat loves it, and she stole it. And it took me, I was like 10 minutes before I came on today looking for it. So if I set up some big altar with all these things, she's going to have a field day. So I need something that I can break down. Yeah, exactly. I need to break down, be able to use. If you using, some people live in apartments, using a regular candle or burning herbs, probably it might not work, or you might not be allowed to. So you can substitute that with a battery operated one. It's still your magic. It's still going to work. So in my book, I really want to harness that. And I want people to know that everyday magic is doable, and it can be easy. It does not have to be complicated.
Yes, I 100% agree. I tell my students, probably once a week, to remind them, you don't need to go out and buy expensive tools or anything. Look in your yard, look in your cabinets. It's all there underneath your fingertips. It's like it was in the very beginning. So.
Yeah. Exactly. We didn't have like a cabinet for that kind of stuff, right? Like it's, and I think people forget that, like you might use those bay leaves once at Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving, and meanwhile they're just sitting there, and then you're like, oh, I need bay leaves. Where am I going to get them? And it's like, oh, friend, go open that drawer. They're right in there. Too, and that's the other thing, is that you can substitute. If you are really connected to a certain herb or a certain crystal, and you are working with the dark moon and working with self-care, then use that. If that's the one that really works for you, then absolutely use that. These are all suggestions, and it gives you the template to kind of create your own as well.
Right. Now you did the deck. So the first deck you did was the Star Wonder deck.
Yes, the Star
Let me see
if I can do this without falling over. Okay, there we go. I did it. So this is the first edition. This is the indie edition. So it's a little bit. This is the indie edition. So I did this as a Kickstarter. It was all self-published, all of that, and that is quite the adventure. And people who do that on a regular basis, I hope their pillow is always warm, because it's a lot of work, and it's a lot. So from that, US Games contacted me and said, hey, we want to mass market this deck. I said, heck yeah, you will. So that's why we have this one. And this one just came out in July. And so there's a couple differences in them. Not the actual artwork is exactly the same. And pretty much the guidebook is the same. But so this is a very sci-fi. There's space pirates, gods and goddesses. It's very sci-fi. It's a lot of fun. And I'll just show you a couple cards. So
yeah.
I'm a very and like steampunkish, you know, going around.
Oh,
I
love
love
that.
anything sci-fi.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, my thing. And then so that's our
Oh,
and
wow.
it was fun to incorporate like all the gods and goddesses or all the pirates are actually like real pirates. So I have a lot of pirate lore that most people probably don't know, but now I know. So we have all the gods and goddesses, and it's really a story about Mina, which is the fool in the deck. So, and it's her journey of being a space pirate and a demigoddess. And it's really, again, it's like that fool's journey. It's like her discovering herself and all the characters along the way and then all of that. So I really, really had a fun time creating this deck. And, you know, this, like I said, it's available now, US Games, Amazon. And it's my first baby, my first deck baby. And I am really proud of it. And I really put a lot of work into it. It took 4 years to create. And just doing it yourself and going through that process. So it's really cool too, because now I have the experience of self-publishing and traditional publishing. So it's nice when, you know, for me to understand the nuances of each and how they work. And I probably won't self-publish again. I'm being completely honest. That's why people say all the time. I think you are a wonderful human, but it's just there's just a lot of little things that go wrong and that can go wrong. And so people are not very nice, especially on the internet. So being able to do this mass market and have them take care of all that and still be able to bring this deck into the world is really an honor as well.
Oh, wow. And then you have another deck too.
We have our Enchanted, totally different vibe.
Yep. Where it is, of course, felines. That sounds interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So this one was fun because so right now I'm in Key West. I have a house in Key West, and then I live part-time in New York. So in New York, I live on a mountain, and a lot of people tend to dump their cats on the mountain, unfortunately. So there's a lot of feral cats around. I'm always like, I try to make friends with them, but they usually want nothing to do with me. They'll eat my food, but they don't want to come near me. But it kind of came from that. And I was like, oh, you know what if there is like a magical place that cats can go that could be like, F you humans, we have everything we need, we don't need you kind of thing. So that's where that came from. And this one is with Llewellyn. And the artist for this one, she was absolutely lovely. She's from Croatia. And she was so much fun to work with. And I think this was her first big project. So she was so excited about it, and just talking to her and getting to know her, it was really a lot of fun. So this is a very kind of like, I guess it's like folk art, more of like storybook. Like you could see, like it's so different.
Wow. That's
I guess
pretty.
this kind of tells you like how weird my brain is, because I go from space pirates to cats. Like, I don't know if I should be concerned or not, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
So those are some of those, and it's a lot of fun, this deck, and it's actually pretty, like, they don't mess around, these cats. They're gonna tell you how it is. That's the fool.
I love it.
Those are a couple of those cards, and I had a really good time making this deck. This was a lot of fun.
My God, I don't know which one to choose. I might have to get all of them because
I know.
Pretty. I mean, they really look.
I'm not going to argue. And then I actually do have another deck in process.
Oh.
So if you could, I posted a couple pictures on my Instagram, but it's called, right now the working title is Goblin Whispers Tarot. So it's goblins. And it's so much fun. I absolutely adore it. So I'm a big fan of all 80s movies. So my art is all 80s movies. You said The Never Ending Story. We got David up there in the Labyrinth. So Labyrinth is like one of, like, and the Worm. See my worm. So Labyrinth is one of my all-time favorite movies, and David Bowie is one of my all-time favorite humans. So, the goblins, if you think about the goblins in Labyrinth, if you think about dark crystal. I mean, it's kind of like that vibe. And like I said, I posted a couple. We're about 50 cards in right now, so we're getting there. And I'm really excited. That's with Llewellyn as well, so I'm really excited for that one too, because that one is
cool.
That's one I've always wanted to do. Like, I really wanted to do a labyrinth deck, but like licensing and all that, couldn't do that. So next best thing, we'll focus on the goblins.
And when's that supposed to be out, this fall or?
Oh no, so I'm gonna say it really depends on when the artist finishes the images. So we're due April, probably 2028. I'll say end of 2028 right now. Yeah, because it takes a couple years to produce a deck, which is a lot of people don't realize that it could take anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Wow. So yeah, it really does. It takes so long. So it's so funny when the deck is up for pre-order, it's ready to come out, and like, to me it's like, oh, I've been looking at this for 2 years already. Yeah. I'm like, yes, okay, let's get going. And but people don't realize that. And because the artist has to take, so I write a description for each 78 of the 78 cards, very, very detailed description, and I give it to my artist. Then she draws it, does sketches, I have to approve them, and then she does the final, and then it's done, and then we move on to the next one. So it's like, it's a whole process. And I mean, my card description probably is like 50, 75 pages, because I'm so detailed in how I see it in my head. So it takes, she's got to look at that, and we got to talk about, like, sometimes, there's things like I add too much to a card and she's like, this is too much. And I'm like, no, it's good in my head. I'm like, oh, it's great in my head. What do you mean? But then we have to, adjust. And I always like to ask them to add some of their element to it, of like certain things, like the cat deck, she put her cat in it, and that sort of thing. So that was really cool too.
Wow, that is cool.
I do love that. I love that a lot.
Questions.
Yeah, I do. And I actually understand that thought process completely, because as a medium, I have an artist that I go to and, try to get spirits drawn. And so I'm very detail oriented as well, and telling him, like, what I'm seeing, what the entity looks like, and what the surrounding aspect is. So I totally understand. It takes a little while for that to actually be done up. So
yeah, no, for sure. And there is like those weird little nuances that really make a difference.
Yep.
It's like, if I have a vision of how exactly I want the face to be, or like the goblins, if they have pointy ears, or if they have flat ears, and if it doesn't look right, I'm like, no, that's not how I want it. I have to change it. So
yeah, it's got to go back to.
They're very good about, and I've been lucky that they're like, okay, let's do that, or oh, okay, I see this. Can we compromise in the middle? So it's definitely a process for sure.
I love it. Wow. Well, I was curious about what makes moon magic meaningful or practical and everyday.
I think, again, like I mentioned before, like, it's out there, it's there, no matter what, it's always there. So I think that, you have all these tools around you, and a lot of times we don't use that. We don't utilize that. So why not utilize the moon energy? And really, it's simple as, if you download a moon app, which it's wonderful that we have that it tells you, okay, well, today's first quarter moon in Libra. And it helps you to learn the phases. It helps you learn the zodiac, which I do talk about that in my book. I have all the zodiac lined out in the back. And then you can just really note, like, okay, you have a really busy day, so you don't have a lot of time to do stuff, but you can know, okay, first quarter in Libra, what can I do for that? And even if it's saying some affirmations, or maybe creating an action to kind of set something in motion, it doesn't need to be complicated, but you're aware of it, and you're utilizing that energy. And after it becomes a habit, you kind of realize, like, oh, you're doing a little bit more, like, oh, all right, you know what? I'm at that full moon, and in my book, full moon is releasing, but it's also about balance. So, okay, it's the full moon in Virgo. So you know what? I need to really balance out. Maybe I need to balance out something in my life. What's the first thing that pops up? Okay, let me work on that. Let me even do a little spell. Let me light a candle and just focus some energy on that. Done. And it is that simple. And I feel like, unfortunately, on social media and all the groups and all the TikTok and all that, everybody tries to make everything so complicated.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
And it's like, if you're not doing it in a complicated way, then it's not going to work, which is
Right.
completely false. And I think that, with my book, I want people to realize that you can do small magical things every day, even if it's stirring intentions into your tea, into your coffee, into your margarita, whatever you want it to be, whatever. But you're doing something, and that's
Right.
what matters. And then just being present in your body and saying, okay, well, I know that I need to balance. How does that feel to me? Where am I feeling that in my body? Okay, well, it's like my thighs feel really tense when I think about that. But why? Okay, you know what? Maybe I need to move around a little more. Maybe I need to see where this anxiety is coming from. So you wind up really working on yourself as you're doing these other things as well. And I think that also leads into taking care of yourself and taking care of your spiritual self, and not even just your physical self, because a lot of times we do ignore that, because it's like, oh yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. But the moon is there, and she's like, hey, this is what's going on today. How can you work that in?
Right.
But if you do have a day where you're just feeling like shit, and you're like, I'm not doing anything, that's okay too, because you know what? She's still going to be there tomorrow. So you just pick it up right where you stop and keep going, and not worry about, like, you don't have to work with every moon phase, every cycle, every time. After a while, it might become a habit, and you might just get used to doing that. But sometimes we have a lot of crap going on in our lives, and it's overwhelming. And then even the thought of doing something else is hard. And it's okay not to do stuff as well. But even if you're just still noticing what phase it's in, what the zodiac is, and that's all you do for the day, that's fine. Because you're recognizing the moon, and you're giving her that energy, and the universe sees that, and they will return in kind, and like maybe throw a little extra good juju your way, and that can't hurt ever.
Yeah, I was going to say, we all need that, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm never going to deny that ever. Like, yes, please.
So 2 things. The first thing is, what app do you recommend for that? Because I'm very into that. I would love to know, what app do you use?
What app? The one that I really like right now, let me look, just so I know I'm talking the right one. Because there's so many. Let me look at it.
Yeah,
and I've tried out so many. Like, I'm always trying out like ones to see if I like one over the other. I think the one I'm using right now is just moon phases and lunar. Hold on, moon phases and lunar calendar. So this is the one that I'm using right now. I have an Apple phone, but that's the one I'm using right now, and I really, really like this one. And actually, one of the reasons I really like it's quite silly. On the full moon, it howls.
I love that. That's so cool.
I just think that's so fun. So just like randomly, and I hear a howl. Everybody's like, "What is that?" And I'm like,
it's the moon tonight.
Yeah, so, and it really doesn't take much to entertain me, as you can tell. So, and I'm going to take care of that. So I just make it, I just do it right on the top of my phone right there. And then it's like the little widget, and it tells me, and it says, we're in the new moon right now, and the eclipse moon and all that good stuff. So it's 1%, and it tells you, and it says the moon in Leo. And then it says the full moon is in 15 days and 9 hours. The next new moon is in 29 days, 8 hours. And the moon age is 2 hours, because we just went through that new moon phase. So it gives you all of that. And then you can look ahead, and it does show like a little calendar. So when you're planning, you can plan. And then there's like a little plus at the bottom, and it has like a little journal. So if you want to make notes and stuff like that. So I feel like it's got a lot of information and a lot of stuff you can use without being too foofy. Because I don't really need all that. Like, I don't really need that. So, and then you could go through, and it goes through pretty much all, a couple years worth. And then you set it to where, like that up there, it says Summerlin Key. That's the key I'm on. So that shows you where you are. And so if you're traveling, you can change it. So then you are where the moon is, where you're at, like the phase. And so that you can keep that accurate as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so
That
much.
is.
Super handy. It really is super handy. And it howls at the full moon. So that's
So entertainment purpose wise, I love that
yeah,
too.
no, it's just fun. I mean,
Just
come on,
because,
you gotta have
just
fun.
because of that, I'm changing apps. I'm
I
changing
know. I
apps.
was gonna say I'm gonna
Just
download it
because
too.
I'm telling you, it's just, and it, you know, and sometimes you're like all lost in the sauce in the day, and then you hear it, and you're like, oh yeah, but then it brings out awareness, like, oh, we're at the full moon now, okay,
Right.
and you look at it, and you see what phase it's in, and then there you go, see, magic's happening, and all because something howled at you.
Good
Exactly.
reminder. Very good
Yeah.
reminder.
No, it is.
So-
It's super handy.
So can you tell our audience what a certified somatic integration practitioner is and what you do?
It's a lot of words, right?
It's
All
a
of these
mouthful.
things, like anytime you get like any of these modalities, they're like so long. So basically, a somatic is within the body. So it has to do with learning, and which has to, it's also a part in my book, and that's why we have that mind, body, spirit, is feeling where things are in your body, and a lot of times that's trauma related, and being able to work on your body to work through trauma, because when we have trauma, it does store in our bodies, and a lot of people will see that with autoimmune diseases, you know, different anxieties and things, and sometimes they don't even know where it came from, but they may have had a traumatic experience sometime in their life, and it just kind of makes a home in your body. So it's using different things to help work through that, to recognize it, to understand it, so you can move past it and kind of loosen that energy and get rid of it. So if you think of it, even like if you're doing Reiki, and if you are somebody that can do Reiki, a lot of times you'll kind of feel where there's stuck energy. So that's really what it is. It's just a different modality to unstuck that energy.
And you said that that's in your book. Is that the book we were just talking about, Christine?
Yes, the manifesting by the moon. There are a lot of the exercises that are the like feel in your body exercises are somatic exercises that you can use. And a lot of times, even, you know, the exercises in there, they're good to use if you are doing some shadow work. Because when you're working with the moon, when you're going through those moon phases and the different energy, and you start doing, you know, you're realizing where does it feel in my body, that's going to bring up stuff. That's just what it is. But it's part of the work. It's part of the grand work, you know, of what we do, because we're always working on ourselves. And as we work on ourselves, we can help other people because we have that better understanding. And so that really kind of plays all in together with it. And, you know, there's a project I'm working on that I can't say yet, but it's very much reliant on the somatic and using tarot and all of that. So hopefully soon I can announce that.
Oh, good. We might have to have her back on when that comes to fruition.
Yes.
Well, you're in the Facebook group, so just
Yes.
say, advertise
I
it.
know.
Say, hey,
It's
I
the
got my new.
waiting. It's the worst part. I'm always waiting. Hurry up and get it done and wait. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's normal.
It's with everything, right? It's with everything.
It's totally normal.
Yeah. So that is where that part comes in, and working with the moon, but also integrating it with yourself and knowing how, you know, because we could be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work with this waxing crescent moon. Oh yeah, that's so great. Some actions, things are starting. But unless you really sit and think about it and like how does it feel to start a new action? For some people, that is terrifying. And because we know that we're bringing on change, and change is terrifying for someone, for some people. But why is it terrifying? Why do I feel my chest constricting when I think about, you know, maybe checking on my credit and clearing it so I can manifest a new home or something like that? And so instead of just being like, you can manifest this and do this and do that, it's like, wait, we're going to work through this, because when you work through that, you're also creating space. And by creating that energetic space, you're making more room to bring stuff in, because sometimes those things are blocking you, and that blocks your energy. And a lot of people are like, why can't I manifest? Why can't I do this? Well, because you're not doing the work. And that's really what it comes down to. And even having the word manifest on my cover, I really kind of had to sit with that, because right now, especially, you know, and there's nothing wrong with New Age. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a word that makes money for them. Let's put it that
Right.
way. And
Right.
there's a lot of things that, manifest this in 3 days, manifest that. And, if you pay me $10,000, I can manifest you a great life. And it's like, it's not going to work. It's like, don't do that. I mean, if there's somebody out there that wants to help you, then they shouldn't have to charge you $10,000
Right.
and give you the phrase. Because the one phrase that I know, there's a particular person I think of, they're like, well, you have to spend money to make money. No.
Yeah.
And this person, they were like there were people that they had clients that were in debt, and they're like, oh, well, if you spread it out on different credit cards, and if you miss this opportunity, you're not going to bring in your best life. And you're like, heck no, this is not true. So that's like even why, like, I have I wanted to have Manifest on the cover, because I'm trying to have a one-woman show, trying to get rid of the ick in Manifest, because
Right.
there is an ick, and even I had, when Llewellyn first posted my book, as it was for pre-order, they put it on their page, as they do, somebody wrote on there, oh yeah, sure, just manifest everything, super duper easy. And it was this guy, and I was like, okay, I'm like, all right, we'll play along with this. So, I happened to look on his profile. I noticed he was a tattoo artist and whatever, and he had some decent work. So instead of writing something not so nice, I said, oh, I really love your profile. You do some great work. I said, this isn't about manifesting quickly, because that's not real. I said, if you read the book, you'll see that that's not what it's about.
Right.
And so then he kind of answered back. He's like, oh, yeah, no, thank you so much for looking at my profile. Oh, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to get it and read it. Thank you for clarifying that. And sometimes, and that was just his gut reaction to that word,
Right.
and that's something that I think even is a part of doing our lunar work and paying attention to what we want to bring into our lives is, all right, if I look at that word, what does it mean to me? Or abundance or wealth or any of those things, because those are a lot of blocks that we have. And not everything we want to manifest is monetary, but especially online, that's the big focus.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
it's really deciding, what does that look like for me? And you might just go through a whole moon cycle and a manifesting moon cycle, just figuring that out. Like, what does that mean to me? What does abundance mean to me? So that I know how to correctly call in and manifest what I want instead of what I think everybody else wants. Because a lot of times that happens. You get to that new moon, you're like, all right, here I am. Today I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest that. And then you start going through the book, doing the phases, and you're like, wait a minute. This isn't what I want, right? And a lot of people ask, well, what do I do then? Switch it. Just switch what you want to manifest. Like, don't worry about, you did that work, and it shows that it's actually working, because we're getting to the core of what you really want and not what everyone thinks you want, and that you just attach yourself to that. So I think that it really, it does all tie into it. And a lot of times, especially as women, we're taught to ignore our bodies.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the somatic part comes in. It's because don't pay attention to that. Oh, you're fine. You know what? Let's make sure everyone else is okay. You can worry about you later. This is kind of bringing it. No, I need to know how I'm feeling, so I know what I want, how I want it, when I want it, and how to bring it about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. I do have a question about, you focus on helping others. Okay. And you help others to trust their intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think so many people struggle to trust themselves and when it comes to intuition?
I think that's another one of those things, as a child, everything's magic, right? Everything's magical. Anything's possible. But as we're getting older, again, it's something that's kind of beat out of us. And I think that, so by the time we get to be teenagers, we're like, we can't trust our gut anymore. Like, we need to, because so-and-so said this, and so, I can't trust that. And so at that point, we kind of get stunted in our intuition, because we're kind of like, nope, stop that right now. You don't trust that, because that's not what's real, and that doesn't happen. But meanwhile, a lot of times when you just trust your gut, you wind up being right. And meeting new people, or a situation is happening and you're like, yeah, you know what? This is not feeling so great. But and you share that with somebody, and then because somebody else may have some sort of trauma attached to it, they're like, no, don't listen to yourself. You're just paranoid. Don't pay attention to that. But then you go into the situation and everybody's a jerk and you're like, see, I knew I was right. And so, it's really like, wait a minute, take that step back. Pay attention to how your body is feeling. If you're if you're nauseous going into a situation or meeting this person and you're like getting the major ick about them, then pay attention to that. Give it space to see where it can go. But it innately, that person is not going to work for you, or that it's just not a good energetic match. And you need to pay attention to that. And it's like, you do want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but if you are feeling that strongly about it, do it from a distance. Make sure you're protected yourself and shielded. And then, okay, well, let me tiptoe around and see if this is what it is. Okay, yes, it is usually. Then you can peace out. See you, bye.
That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do too. If you could recommend one magical practice for everyone to try, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I think what I would say is really setting an intention every morning, but kind of testing yourself in a way too, because your intuition is like a muscle. So the more you use it, the stronger it is. So kind of set an intention for the first in the morning and say, okay, so every time I see a yellow bird, it's a sign from my intuition. And see how you go and document it. Open the notes app in your phone and use that. And do that for a couple of days and see that, and you'll see kind of how that works and how it works for you. And that, a lot of times, seeing the proof in the pudding is really good for people to harness their intuition. And I think that's something everybody should try at least once, just see. But as far as like a magical thing, I think it could be just as easy as, picking a crystal and giving a crystal a job and working with that crystal and seeing how you can use the tools around you and how they can most benefit you, and seeing what works and what doesn't. Because I always tell people, even though you might not feel like that works for you, try it once. Because even if you do try it and you don't love it, somewhere down the line, you're going to meet someone and they're going to be like, oh, I really wanted to work with this crystal, but I wasn't sure. But then you can say, okay, well, I worked with this crystal. This is how I liked it. This is how I didn't like it. Try it, see, and just to give them a different perspective on it. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't give space for, and they should.
Right.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I hope the audience does pick that up and try that, because the crystal one is really good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
There.
I have a bloodstone. This is my little. See, you can tell we're witches. We always have a crystal that we're fiddling around with, right?
Yeah, blue lace agate. I always play with this.
Well, that's what I do with this one too. It's just you have to do it. It's just one of those things. You just have to.
Yeah, I got a big piece of lapis lazuli too, right here.
Oh, wow, that is a big piece.
It is.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. It is a beautiful piece.
And my sparkly. She's sitting.
I think my biggest piece is, if I can get it. Oh, it's Got in Vermont.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So, apparently you put this outside and in the ground, and it's supposed to grow more. So I haven't tried it. Somebody's going to steal it because it's a big chunk. So
yeah, that is a pretty big chunk.
I keep it inside.
No, that one is really cool looking.
That is. Wow.
I love that. No, that's awesome. But yeah, like you said, you found it outside. There's so many cool things outside. And sometimes people get so hyper focused on, oh, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. It's like, just go outside and you'll be amazed what you can find.
Exactly. Just
Right.
like that.
Just like that.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
Well, question for you. So obviously, is there a magical experience that completely changed the way you see the world?
Oh, okay. I think for me, there's definitely been a couple throughout, but I think for me, when I was on my own at 14, so I was pretty much homeless. I just stayed at people's houses until they didn't want me there anymore. Their parents didn't want me there anymore. So I think for me, just really, I could have focused on other things, but I really wind up focusing on the moon and tarot and stuff like that to kind of help me, like as a direction. And I really could have went in some really bad directions. And now as an adult, I'm like, how the heck did I even do that? But I think that, knowing that the moon actually does have energy and learning about it at 14, but not really knowing anything about it. And I think that's a really magical thing, because I knew that there was something to it. And I would look, and even if at that point I was getting the phases wrong or whatever the energy, I was still doing it. And I was still relying on that to help guide me. And knowing that it was always there, because obviously there were people in my life that weren't always there and then, left me. And so knowing that there is magic and it is always there for you. And I think for me, that was really profound and really kind of made the direction of where I went in my life. And I think that was really important. And then for me, just as far as like trusting myself and my intuition, I think the one time I can think of that just popped in my head was I was reading for a client. I was probably 18, 19. And I was reading for a client, and we were reading about her career, and we're reading about her career. But in my head, I kept seeing this big fluffy dog, and it was annoying me. And I'm like, what is going on with this dog? And I'm trying to do the reading, and I'm like, it kept, like, it was getting in my way. And I said to her, more out of frustration than anything, I said, do you have a big fluffy dog? Because I just keep seeing this big fluffy dog, and it's driving me nuts. It's yapping and jumping. And she goes, oh my God, my dog. I do have a dog, and he's lost. And we don't know where he is. And he just got lost this morning. And I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, can you tell me where he is? So I kind of, stopped the reading, and I'm just kind of looking like in my mind's eye, if you know what I mean, right? You're like, you're just kind of looking in your head, like, okay. And so I saw like a park bench, but it was like in the middle of the woods, not usually where a park bench was. So I was like, okay, well, this is kind of weird, but this is what I'm seeing. And she goes, oh, no, I know where that is, because there's a park and there's this one bench that this old man used to sit by the creek, and that's his bench, and somebody put the bench there, and it's in the middle of the woods. It's so random. She's like, I'm going to get back to you. I got to go. And I was like, okay. So she left, and then I'm just sitting here like, what the hell just happened? Like, what are we calling this? Well, she wound up getting a hold of me a couple hours later. The dog was at the bench.
Oh, I
was kind of like, oh shit, I got my husband. I'm like, Jay, let me tell you what just happened. Because I'm like, I gotta tell someone, this is crazy pants. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, so these things are real. But then it brought me back to when I was a child. I had a friend, and it was a woman, and she was, she kind of had her hair up in a bun, but she was always show up and wake me up in the middle of the night and told me to go in the closet. So that's usually when there was something going on in my house, and she would wake me up and tell me go in the closet. And I thought, as a kid, I always thought everybody saw her, but it wasn't. It was whoever the spirit of the house was, because we were in a really old house. And, I had kind of forgotten about it, because I would tell people, and then, oh, no, you're just making that up. Oh, it's just imaginary. Of course. But she would always wake me up, and I would go in my closet, and not 5 minutes later, nonsense was happening in my house. And so it reminded me, it kind of reminded me of that, and was like, oh, right, I can do that. Right. And it's like one of those like, oh yeah. So to me, that was kind of like that magical reconnect in a way. Right. So then at that point, like anytime that happens, I'm like, oh yeah, or this one's showing up. Cause when you're doing readings, like everybody's showing up at that point. So you're like, okay, and then learning to harness that and like be able to put the boundaries up and work with that energy. So it kind of was like one thing led into another. And to me, that was like, those were kind of the two really big magical experiences for me that really kind of defined and made me understand that what I can and can't do. And really like, oh, okay, well, now I know what to do with this. So now I can work on it and grow that like an intuitive thing. and be able to help people and help them see it too.
Right. That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes,
The big fluffy dog.
that is awesome.
I know. Oh my God. And it's like, even now I could remember, like, because he was over here and he was so annoying. And I'm just like trying to like think about this woman's career. And I'm like, nothing's making sense right now. So I was glad, honestly, it was that. And I just didn't like blank out and whatever. But it was really a cool experience when she got back a hold of me. Listen, and she sends me a picture of the dog, and it's the freaking dog. I'm like, your dog is like magic AF, so you better take care of that big boy.
Yeah, do not let him out ever again.
No, ever again, because I don't know where I'll be, and I got to make sure. Like, he already connected to me, so we're besties now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow! Wow, he saw his chance and he thought, well, I'm just going to jump through here and say, hey, know about me.
It's so funny that happened. And then she happened to like book the reading at that time. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you see how just everything's like just connected.
Yeah,
you know?
it's totally
I think
connected.
that's awesome.
It is totally connected.
Very, very much so. And I think that was a big thing too, I guess, to realize like how everything is connected.
It is, because everything is connected. You know, a lot of people don't realize that until they start doing magic or, you know, start the path on the craft. And they're just like, I don't realize that everything was connected. You know, now I do. And it's like,
yeah. And just that everything has energy, and realizing that you can work with that, and it can really help. It can be helpful. And sometimes, you know, you pick up a crystal, you pick up a rock, you pick up a shell, and sometimes it has an energy that you might need at that point. And if you aren't open to that, you're not going to receive that. So just being open and not being afraid to be open, because being open is scary. Even just saying that some people are like, ooh, I don't know about that. I got to stay guarded. That's what I was taught. And which, you set your boundaries, but also being open to magic is a really big and important part of creating a magical practice. And that's why even working with the moon, it's kind of like, in my opinion, it's easier to be open to the moon because it's there. You see it changing, but it's like not like anything crazy, you know, like, you know, like there's not demons coming out of it at you or anything, you know, and people think crazy things, but you know, being able to like be open to that, that's also kind of like that segue to be open to other things.
Exactly. Wow. What is, because I know it says that you also, you do speak at different events. Do you have anything coming up for the rest of this year that you'd like to share with us?
What do I have got? Well, I'm doing, if anyone's in Key West, I'm doing a book signing in Key West. So if you want to go on vacation and come say hi, you know, I'm doing I just did Mystic South, but I know next year, it hasn't really been announced yet. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it, but I'm going to be headlining the Florida Pagan Spirit Festival. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, they asked me. I was like, okay. So I'm really excited about that. And I know that's going to be around Beltane. And I'll post, if you follow me on the socials, I'll be posting more about it. I'll be at Mystic South next year, which is in Atlanta. And it's absolutely wonderful. I'm actually now a part of the team. So my new job at Mystic South is I'm in charge of the VIPs. So I get to be their liaison. So we'll see how that goes. But you know, I've done a ton of conferences and speaking events too. So I do a lot of stuff online as well. So really, just if you just follow me on Instagram, you'll see I'm always posting about all the things going on, because sometimes things pop up at the last minute and all of that. So yeah. So I was going to actually do StarCon in Florida, but it was the same weekend that I'm doing the book signing. So I couldn't do that. And that store is really hard to get into because it's like a Judy Blume's store. Like she wrote, like it's her store. Like, are you there, Margaret? It's her store. So it was just really kind of exciting that I'm like book signing at her store. And so it was really hard to get into. It's good, as you can imagine. So as soon as they said that date, I'm like, yes, everything else is canceled. We're doing that. So yeah, but I do have things that
Awesome.
are popping up. Yeah, and then I'm going to be back up in New York in October, so I may be doing some things in like the Albany, Saratoga area. So still kind of working all those out too. So like I said, just follow me because I've always got something going on.
Wow. And so we have your
just did.
website down.
Mhm.
We have your website down that's going to cross the screen. So is your Instagram account on that site too, as well as your
It is.
Facebook?
Yep,
Is
yep.
it?
And
Oh,
it's the same
great.
name. Yeah, like it's Stardust Wander Tarot. If you just Google Jen Sankey, all the things pop up. So I'm super, super easy to find on social media. So, you know, definitely you can check out my website, which I have to update, and I've been dreading it. Why are websites such a pain?
I know.
They're such a pain. That's the thing. I'm always like, I'll do that next week. And it's funny because I just thought about it this morning. I'm like, and it's fine. It works fine, but it just needs to be like refreshed and updated. And I don't know. That's not my strong suit. I know where I'm good at and not good at. And trying to do WordPress websites, I'm not good at. So
But
it's on my
when you wake up tomorrow morning, and you're thinking about manifesting something, you might want to work on that, Jen. Put
That's
that
right.
down.
I need to put that out right now. And we have
That's
this
right.
eclipse energy, so that's like super focused. That's what. See, this is where we're going with it. So thank
That's
you for
right.
helping me
See,
out there.
I mean, I'm going to start doing this because it's I need to do the same thing.
No,
So
I know. All right. Yeah, we're both doing it. We're both doing it.
I always try to manifest Samantha Stevens so I can just trick my nose and everything will be
Yes,
done.
exactly.
Okay, when you have that figured out, you let me know, and then we'll all be taking our notes and doing the things. I'm totally
trying to do it.
I
After
know.
40 years, it hasn't worked for 40 years, so it probably won't
Yeah, I
work.
know. But you know, we gotta have hope. Always have hope, right?
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
have hope.
Always have hope.
That's it. Well, Jen, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. I love it. I love everything you are doing and have done. And
Yeah.
like I said, I got your book on Audible because I like to listen to while
Yes,
I
no,
do
absolutely.
housework, gardening, and everything.
Yeah.
And so
I just
far,
bought it.
I am enjoying it.
Thank you.
We would love to have you come back when your new deck is out.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this was a lot of
Let us
fun.
know. Yeah, just let us know. But in the meantime, to the audience, go to her website, look her up, check out her book, check out her decks. And like always, jump over to Within the Cauldron, subscribe, share, and like. Jump over to the Medium Red AZ as in Arizona.com. Check her out and check out our Facebook Within the Cauldron as well. And it's been such a pleasure, everybody, to, the audience. Thank you for listening. And you have a very blessed night and happy new moon.
Yeah.
As well.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And stay behind for a little bit. Okay. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.